Alright, I wanted to make an update video that would go over some of the things that I missed in the previous video, and also what my experience has been with the system since I built it. So where we left off, I had built a 1,000-watt array, and that 1,000-watt array produced over 1,000 watts, and lately it's produced 940 some watts, so it's still capable. I'm not having any problems with any of the things that I bought or the system itself. So we left off in May of 2025, and I'd like to review what's happened in the summer. Although I'm at 45 degrees north of the equator in Nova Scotia, Canada, the panel stand is actually erected to 58 degrees above the horizontal, and the dip that we see here on this graph in maximum power output is actually not because the panels are so far up. It's because the battery is normally full by 1 o'clock in the afternoon, well before the peak solar power of the day. So the Victron charge controllers are pulling the power back before 2 and 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So we're running 600 to 800 watts normally, and for the most part I'm happy with that because we're not overpowering any of the components. The inverter's been turned on since the 5th of May, and I've had no reason to turn it off. We've actually had too much sunshine, and half of the province is on fire, so we could use some rain. The panels, the solar panels, are 100 watt WERCHTAY 18 bus bar monocrystalline panels, and they were the cheapest things I could find on Amazon, and I'm absolutely 100% satisfied with them. As far as the extension cables are pure copper. I know this because both the weight, and I had to chop one end off of the cable, so I scraped the wire. It's tinned copper, and actually inspected it with my eyes. Unfortunately, those branch connectors are just junky aluminum, but I've pulled max power and more through 100 feet because I didn't even shorten the cables any in case I needed to move stuff. So I'm quite happy with the, conductivity of everything. They quite can handle the amperage, and those wires are rated at 30 amps, and I'm pulling 12 through them, so it's not really an issue, and that's max, right? 11.5 amps is max. One of the things I wanted to mention was just how well packaged those WERCHTAY panels are. They're embedded in foam pieces on the ends, and then they have separators, foam separators, and now they've gone and added these plastic corners to the boxes. So the boxing is nearly indestructible. I mean, you'd have to run over them with a truck to damage them. So I'm really happy about the way they're packaged. I'm less happy about the way the delivery people deal with them and the warehouse people, but I haven't got any damaged panels so far. Here you can see that I got a microwave. Somebody gave it to me as soon as I started bragging about how good my solar system was working. So I took this 1986 microwave as a gift, and I think it's 39 years old now. And other than making some ticking noises from the fan when you start it up, it worked great. And I didn't think I would want a microwave, but by the geez, I'll tell you, it's quite the rig. It's a great thing to have to heat your coffee up. That fridge on the right-hand side, that's been running since the 5th of May. And even though I have a newer Frigidaire mini fridge, that old beater there it froze my eggs. I had to turn it down. So it works way better than the new fridge, so that's the one that I use. You can see there's a toaster in the background, coffee maker, all that kind of stuff. So now because everything's working so great, I figured I'd mess with it and add more panels. This panel stand is a whole lot easier to build. We're talking 3 skinned poles from some skinny spruce trees, and they're going to be secured at the top. They're just dangling at the bottom. I might throw some dirt around them. Jam some 2x4s across it and slam some panels on it. And I'm even going kind of cheesy on the panel installation. So here we got 4. Also WERCHTAY 18 bus bar. I'm buying the same panels because I get the same deal. And they're in a string of 4, but they're paralleled in a string with the string of 4 80 watt, which holds the voltage down, because the only thing I got to run them through is a 120 Victron charge controller, so 100 volts. I have to keep them down, and those 4 panels could actually exceed 100 volts at times. But because they're paralleled with the 4 80 watts, which only go to 90 volts, then we're maintaining a maximum of 90 volts. So you can see here that we got up over 650 watts or something. I actually got 716 watts out of that configuration running through that 120. But then, of course, I got another charge controller, which allows me to expand that array out there. So I had bought 6 panels. They come in pairs, so 3 boxes of 2. And I put 4 up, and as soon as I got this charge controller, and you can see I got another set of wires, so that's those 10 gauge pure copper wires plugged into the bottom of it. So then I put 5 panels up, and now I can get the full voltage out and handle it with my new charge controller. And that took away 4 panels from my 120. So sadly, it's seen a loss in power running through the poor little thing. I could run over 1,000 watts through that 120 on a 48 volt system. I could run 3 sets of 9. You can see here that we did actually achieve 500 watts from that array of 5 100 watt panels. So WERCHTAY's kicking butt again. And that elevation on those panels is even more extreme. They're at about 65 degrees above the horizontal, somewhere around there. So they're at a crazy angle. But they get good sun in the afternoon especially. We've got all 3 charge controllers here mounted on the wall with my hokey looking bus bar homemade thing. And so you've got your wires coming in from the panels, and then they go to either directly to the bus bar or to the back of the inverter, which is where the battery is attached to. There is no safety devices. There's no emergency shutoffs or circuit breakers or anything. You can see here we've got 953 watts coming from my 1,000 watt array out back, and 1,848 watts total network power, and we've only got 1,820 watts worth of panels. So that's pretty good as far as I'm concerned. And this is, see, 2:57 in the afternoon that happened. That's why we got such a big whack, because there was probably clouds in the morning. That insane battery is pulling in 32 amps, 1,734 watts. Now, it has a 200 amp BMS. It's rated for 100 amps nominal charge and discharge, and I'm going to limit it to somewhere around 50 amps because I'm trying to keep everything well below what it's rated for. Here we can see the yield, daily maximum yield, and it's kind of a complicated looking thing. So the green at the top is the total of all 3 charge controllers together. If you look at the bottom, the yellow, that's the newest charge controller. It didn't come into existence until mid of September. And the same with 120, that was added on the 5th of May. So we had 4 panels for up to April 20th. And then on the 5th of May, we got a second charge controller and had our 1000 watt array all set up. And then at August 11th, we added 4 panels. And then 16th of September, we stole those panels away and put them on the new charge controller. And that's where you can see the lines cross, where the 120 drops down below the new 150/45, which actually has 5 panels on it. And you can see that I'm making more and more power all through the summer, but that's more because I'm using more power. I've, added the microwave, and there just doesn't seem to be any reason not to use the power. It can make it up in no time flat. Like I say, I'm still getting a full battery by 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So until we get some crappy weather, I'm not really going to be able to test the system, and the only thing there is to test is how long can I scrape by on the battery. I use about 30% of the battery now every night. So here you can see this is our maximum output of all 3 charge controllers and then them combined. So with our new charge controller with the yellow on the bottom, it has only produced 500 watts. The 120 has actually produced 716 watts because it had the extra panels hooked on it for a while. And then the blue line, that's my 1000 watt array. And it has been bouncing between, say, 600 and 1000 watts on a regular basis. And then peak, we hit actually 1877 watts is the highest that we've put out so far. This contraption here is a power transfer switch, and rather than having your solar on 1 and your generator on 2, my plan is to have one solar system on 1 and the second solar system on 2, because I don't run a generator. I just run strictly solar. Because gas is not that easy to get here, right? I'm out in the middle of the woods. So there's my one inverter that I have. I haven't bought a second one yet, but when I do buy a second one, it will be wired into position number 2. And of course you'll be able to go to 0 and have both of them disconnected. So right now that one is wired into position number 1. The switch is on 1, and that switch is rated for like 40 amps. So I might run 20-25 amps maximum or something. And so where we're going from here is those are my last 4 WERCHTAY panels on the front doorstep. Amazon doesn't have enough sense to deliver them to the back doorstep. So where they can't follow the delivery instructions. So they're right out there where anybody that's walking by can steal them. But anyway, we managed to recover and get them in the house. And once I get those up, then I'll have to start making some new graphs and might have to make a new video. So anyway, that looks like that's going to tie this here video up. And that's good because we're running a little long